Good evening, everybody. We are waiting for people to come in. So as soon as more people show up, we will go ahead and start. See you in a bit. Good evening, guys. We were just trying to give people some time to walk in, and it seems like we have a few people here, but hopefully more will get here shortly. Thank you for those of us joining live. We know it's a really busy time, and you guys are exhausted from a long day of work, but this important is information is super important. We do have two people here who will be speaking. We do have BISD board member Daniela Lopez Valdez, who will be talking about the TRE for the VA TRE for the district. Um, if there's any questions, please put them in the chat. Please be respectful and make sure that the questions apply to the TRE. And then for the Proposition 9, which is for the retirees, we do have Miss Champion, TSTA retired. She is one of our retired members at the state level. She's the president. And so she will be here speaking and giving information on that as well. So if you have any questions for her, please feel free to ask those as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We did have Miss Lamantia sends her regards, and so does Miss Erin Gomez, the state representative. They were supposed to be logging in with us, but they are still in session right now, and so they weren't able to get out of that to log in with us to answer questions and give us information. So I did get some information from Miss Gomez that I can give you guys as well. And whatever questions you guys have, if none of us here have the answer, we can definitely get it for you and share that information on our Facebook page. So, oh, thank you. So I just read in the chat that Ms. Lamantia voted against vouchers. Yay. Great. I think that's happening right now as we're speaking. So log out of watching them and log into watching us for now, and then you can log back in to watch them. I'm going to go ahead and bring Miss Daniela Lopez Valdez so that she can give you guys information on the VATRE. I know that there has been presentations being done at campuses. And so we just want you guys to be able to get more information. And if you have any questions, you can let us know and we will ask them of our BISD board member. So Ms. Daniela Valdez, if you would like to come up here. You can sit right here.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody online. I am here to talk about the voter-approved tax ratification election that early voting starts very soon, October 23rd. And the reason we are doing this is because we want to maximize our state aid. So what happened is we, as a district, were not maximizing our state aid in the past years because we had disaster pennies. And usually we're allowed to claim disaster pennies. And what that means is, for example, when we had Hurricane Harvey and the freeze, the state gives us some of those pennies that we're able to use that go to our tax rate. And so because we had those, we didn't have to maximize it. So it was like 0.04 cents. So now what we are asking is to maximize that state aid since there was no natural disaster. And with that money that would be generated if everyone votes, which it's so important that we continue to spread the word, not only with our community, our BISD community, but also with your families and anybody that you know if you're part of organizations as well, because the $10.4 million that will be generated with these 0.4 pennies will be going to pay raises for all employees in the district. It'll be a 2% raise, as well as to fix the compression, to decompress, yes, the employees that are classified. So we are using $2.6 million from that to help for our employees that are been with us for longer, that they make sure that they're not just making a few cents or a few dollars. Well, it's mostly cents that they were making when we raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. So we're just making sure that the ones who've been here for a longer, they also get adjusted. That pay also gets adjusted for them with those $2.6 million. It's so important that we realize that this is a really critical time in history for Texas public education, because as you all know what's going on at the state level, it is crucial that we pass this, because this will be the only time that we will ever be able to go out for a voter approved tax ratification election without asking to raise taxes. So this is all the stars align for us to be able to make this happen, to be able to maximize our state aid without having to ask the taxpayer to pay more. And we really believe that we need to retain our amazing employees. And this is a great way for us to be able to do that. The timing has aligned really well. I'm not sure if anyone attended the workshop, but we have flyers that I'm sure everyone has received, or if they haven't, let me know. I'll be happy to pass those out.
They're actually giving them when they do the presentations at the schools. We're getting
Perfect.
those, yeah.
Perfect. This has all the information you need. It's important to know that we're strictly using this for the maintenance and operations side, and that's the maintenance. I know school finance is like very complicated, but after being on the budget committee for 3 years, I'm starting to learn. I've learned a lot about it. And the maintenance operation is the pennies that we are maximizing, that requires us to go out for voter approval to be able to get this $10.4 million. I don't know if anybody has specific questions.
I am going to ask you a couple of questions
Yes.
that I had been asked before. And one is the 2% is off of what? Midpoint, right?
The 2%, yes.
So it's midpoint of the teacher's, the hiring scale?
The teacher's salary scale.
Okay.
So if you have the teacher's scale in front of you, I know I did get some questions about this in the beginning of the year, and people were confused because they were looking at, for example, if you were a teacher who was 15 years, and then you look at the line and it looks like you have a decrease, but in reality, it's like that because until the voter approved tax ratification is passed, then it'll move to the next line. Okay. So that's how that's how it'll see. And I want to say it's about
I can try to, let me see on my phone if I can log into compensation. The other question was like, for example, the professional support staff, which is like the LSSPs, the PT, OT, all the other certified positions, are they also 2% off of the teacher scale or their midpoint? That was another question.
Those I believe are midpoint, and I'll check back with you on those specifically. It was because the teacher scale is its own, right? And then we have all the classified employees that are on their own scale, which is midpoint.
Yeah. Let me see. I can get into the compensation here.
I think we would be at 54, right? We're currently at 54 for starting, and it would. Hold on, let me see. I think I have it here. Yeah.
Will it go to pay raises to teachers starting this year and continuing in years to come, or is it just for this year?
So the way a TRE works is that money continues to be generated every year, and it'll always be for salaries. It doesn't increase. So basically what that means is you get the 10.4 million, which is new money that comes in, and that goes to the salaries, and it'll continue to be used for the salaries, but you're not getting an extra, it's not like you're getting 20 million, right? So it's just staying at 10.4. So it's to keep the salaries at what it would be if this would pass.
Okay.
For how many years is that sustained?
It'll be sustained forever pretty much, unless something passes at the state level that we can't control, which we know that's been happening. But this is the local control that we have to be able to maximize state aid. So we need to maximize whatever state aid we do get. We should maximize it.
So this is the employee compensation plan without the VATRE, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it would go, they would look at which page would it be? Hold on, that's like the counts, the ratios. It would be this page?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, if you all log into HR and go to compensation, you will be looking for page 8 on the compensation plan for the one that says non-VATRE because that has not been approved yet, right? Where's the camera? Okay, so you'll be looking for that. And midpoint is half of 35, right?
Yes.
So which would be around year 17.
And this will be adjusted for the salary schedule, for teacher salary schedule. So it's not based off of a midpoint. Oh, everybody else is, but teachers specifically are off of the salary schedule.
So then that was the question. So
Mhm.
then like for counselors and for
I believe with the teacher salary, we include counselors and librarians.
and then what about these professional
The
instructional
profession-
support,
They're
which
going to
is
be
all
off
of
of
these people
midpoint.
of their midpoint.
Of their midpoint.
Okay, perfect. All right. So that, guys, for those of you who are on the professional support staff, which is the nurse, social worker, speech language pathologist, behavior specialist, testing coordinators, instructional coaches for elementary, diagnosticians, audiologists, LSSPs, occupational therapists, physical therapists, all of you all will be looking at page 16 and you'll be looking at your midpoint. So when you look at page 16, you see that right there. I was kind of, sorry, it's blurry, but you will be looking at midpoint, which is the middle section right here. Okay. That's where you will be looking. If anybody needs help finding that, please feel free to call our office and we can guide you. So professional support staff is page 16, and then teachers will be page 8, and then classified will be
off of the decompression that Ms. Luz Cadena presented. I believe that's also attached there. It might, let me hear. No, it was a graph with all of the little.
oh no, this is just the
okay.
compensation plan. Yeah.
And so what we are planning to do for that, it'll be, I have it here. Let's see.
It's going to be based on your years of service.
It's based off years of service. Everything's based off years, and we're making sure to address the areas of the most need that were impacted. So, for example, if you've been with a district for 15 years and you're only making 25 cents more than someone who's just starting, we're taking care of those big groups first, and then hopefully next year, depending on the money that we are able to get from the state, just depending on what they decide, we'll be able to address the next group of trying to make sure that we continue to adjust and make sure we decompress the salaries.
So for the decompression, the first groups you're going to be hitting is which ones again?
The ones that are most affected. So for example, everybody, like for example, the bus drivers, the FNS, everybody is in a different group, right? We're going to address everyone. But for example, if I think it was bus drivers that the 15-year was the one that needed the most, and the FNS workers, there was like a 20-year that needed the most help. So everybody in a different group had a different adjustment that needed to be done.
Perfect. Okay. Let me see. If the TRE doesn't pass, will the hourly employees still get the compression increase?
So we will not be able to do it this year because we tagged it on to this. But what we did say was, depending on what happens at the state level, like, so whatever happens out of this session, if they make a decision on our funding, then we would go back and look at what we could do. So that we did as a board vote that we would do that. So it's still up in the air. It's going on right now. That's why our senator and our representative aren't able, because I've been watching it today, and they're still on the floor.
Yeah, they're still there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any more questions here. Does anybody have any questions in here from that you've gotten from members? The other thing was they wanted to make sure it would be retroactive to your first day of work. So, for example, like the professional support staff, we start in July, so we would be retroactive to July.
Yes.
Teachers are retroactive to
Yes.
August.
September. Is it- I
They
think
get the
it's-
check in September, but they start in August, right? So it would be August. And then for like I guess those are the main ones. Administrators also are getting 2% off of
half of what
their
their
midpoint.
midpoint
Okay,
is.
perfect.
Yes.
And then theirs is retroactive to their start date.
Yes, everybody's retroactive to your start date. It should appear as a really nice check right before Christmas shopping begins. So we're hoping that, if all goes well, everyone.
It'll be one lump sum.
Yes.
Okay, that was the other question that we had. Was it going to be spread
Well,
out? Or
lump
was it gonna
sum
be-
as of back pay, right? Being
Right.
like, for example, what you hadn't been paid for the start of the school year, that will come in.
Okay, so it won't be spread out,
No.
like prorated out
No.
the rest of the year. Okay, great.
The ballot, is this only for Brussels residents?
This is for only BISD. If you are in the BISD district lines, it's for everybody. And I think it's just so important also to say, because the ballot and the way it reads says that it is an increase. And the reason it says that is because there is, by state law, you have to say, even though it isn't. So it's so important to look at what it says and tell people, no, I have all the data. And I mean, we have all the information here. We made copies for everybody, so that way people can show that it's not an increase. You're actually going to be the tax rate has not been this low in 31 years. That is how low the tax rate will be for BISD. So and that's a good one to throw out if you're talking to family and friends, is the tax rate has not been this low since in 31 years.
So there is a sample of the ballot on the BISD website. As soon as you log in, it's how BISD pops up like a little flyer or whatever. I don't know what those things are called because I'm not tech savvy. There is an example of all of that stuff on here, and there are arrows showing you where it is that you are supposed to be voting. Do we have any other questions for the TRE? Let's see. Okay, so the raises for the administrators at the schools is going to be 2% off of your midpoint, whatever the administrator's midpoint is. If the TRE doesn't pass, the hourly employees could get a compression increase based on what BISD has available in the funds.
Based off of what happens with this legislative session, which is going on right now. Because we're hoping they're tying teacher raises into this education savings account, and it's very messy. We are hoping that they do allocate money for raises, because that was our ultimate goal. So it would be in addition to the TRE. But whatever the state decides, they might say, okay, the state might say this is only for teachers, or they might say throw in librarians, throw in counselors. We don't know what they're going to say. So we have to wait. But as far as what I am seen and written, it did not include classified employees, but you never know what's happening right now. So it's been changing.
You mean it says that the tax increase? Yes. So that's what the ballot says on it.
Yes.
Z Chris, are we voting yes? If you want to get a raise, you are voting yes.
Yes, we are voting yes.
So will this be a base of 10 million forever, or just a one-time increase?
So it's increasing that we will always get 10 million every year that goes to salaries. It doesn't mean that it increases. So basically, when you have a salary, you always need to make sure you're taking from a fund that is continuously increasing to give raises. So this is staying the same, but it is to maintain your current, if it passes, what your current salary is.
Our property, this is something that people are really
Yes,
confused
yes.
about. So
Mhm.
our property taxes are not going up more than it was this year.
No. So basically, this is also on a proposition. It is the Homestead Exemption Act, and um, well, I can speak to it a little bit, but it basically is going up from 40,000 to 100,000 on forgiveness of on property taxes. So you will. That's how we're getting property tax relief. And the way it was done is the property tax relief affects school districts. So, and what we receive, it's great because I mean, a lot of us are homeowners and we know how much it increased. It increased by $2 billion in 1 year in our community. And that meant that we were going to have to send $22 million back to the state, which wasn't great. But now we have it's being held up at the state level, but there was a bill and it was to hold us harmless for the first 2 years because we did not expect to have to send $22 million back to the state over property tax.
So that's why it's not going up.
That is why it's
if
not
that
going up,
passes.
because when the state had a $33 billion surplus, they used it to give property tax relief.
Yes, and that is Proposition 4, which is also on the sample ballot that's on the BISD Facebook. Facebook, on the website. Let me see what else. Does anybody else have any questions on the TRE? Anybody else here?
Aside from the TRE, is there anything else from the district that is in the plans to offer the employees?
Right now, it's so critical that we pay attention what's happening at the state level. And I feel like I know that you all know, but it's so important that we tell everybody, because they have not adjusted the basic allotment, which allows us to help increase. So we have not adjusted for inflation. They just gave us the same amount. And what we've obviously, things have gone up. So we need more money from the state. But this should have been decided on at the end of this session in May, and it's still not decided on. So if they would decide that they would give us more money, and if they decide that it is for raises, then we will honor that, because it'll come into the BISD, like our bank account, and we will be able to disperse it in addition to the TRE.
I was going to ask you to clarify that, because there is a misconception that if we get money from the state, the TRE will not.
No, the TRE will. We have voted. It will be for salaries. It'll not be for anything else. So it would be in addition.
So it would be so just so everybody, because I know that was another kind of like area of confusion, right? That if we
Yes.
get money from the state, it wouldn't be we wouldn't get the other. Do you believe it will be confusing for voters?
Yes, I do believe it is confusing, and that's why we've been trying to educate as many people as possible. It's also important to know that as a district, we are not allowed to lobby, right? Because we're a public entity. But I, as an elected official, and speaking to everybody, can say, yes, please vote yes to this. You all can help spread the word by telling people this is really important for us. If you believe that I deserve a raise, then vote for this, please. And it is confusing because of the language that has to be drawn up of what the state says. I think it is confusing, but when you explain it, this is exactly what it is. This pamphlet shows you exactly what it is. It puts it in layman's terms. It makes it simple to understand, and that's why we have to go and educate the community, because that propositions are never as simple as they seem.
Yeah, and we'll get a copy of the ballot and try to put it up on our Facebook with some explanation. And you all know this is live, and this video stays on our YouTube, so you can share the YouTube video with your friends or whoever. so that they can listen to this information. And if there's any questions, please send us a message, call our office, and we will, if we do not have the answer, we will find the answer for you.
And other school districts are doing, I believe McAllen's going out for.
Yes, there
TRE.
are
Yes.
other school districts slash cities that are doing VATREs, not only here locally, but also across the state. So I do have once a month meeting with local presidents across the state, and there are actually a good amount of school districts that are doing VATREs because they are in the same boat as BISD, where there's not enough funding and they're trying to get the funding from somewhere else. And with the fact that the state is trying to pass the homestead, it would in fact lower your tax rate. So then you wouldn't even feel the VATRE when and if it passes. How is that proposition worded? Sometimes the way it's worded confuses people. Yeah.
You can go to the BISD website. It's posted a sample ballot.
Yeah, I can't make
I don't
it
have it
bigger.
right. Yeah.
I can't make it, it won't let me make it bigger,
Yes.
so.
I
But yeah,
thought-
it's on the, when you log into the website, to BISD website, it comes up, it's the,
Let me, I think I have
the
it
main
here.
one like that.
I texted it to someone earlier.
let me see.
But can you guys send it to the association?
I believe this is what it says. So it says for Brownsville Independent School District, date November 7, 2023, place an X for the square beside the statement indicating the way you wish to vote. And then it has a box and it says for, and then another one that says against. It says ratifying that the ad valorem tax rate of 1.030964 in Brownsville Independent School District for the current year, a rate that will result in an increase of minus, this is where we had to put, it says of an increase, but we're putting minus 15.173924. And it goes on, do you want, I can read it, but it goes on to say, insert percent increases in maintenance and operations. And then it says percent in maintenance and operations tax revenue for the district for the current year as compared to the preceding year, which is an additional negative 10,431. Oh, sorry. This is where I go negative 10,431,345 of increase in maintenance and operation tax revenue under the adopted tax rate as compared to maintenance and operations tax revenue in the preceding tax year.
So that's what it will say on the ballot. But again, we'll get a copy and we'll post it on our Facebook, giving kind of like directions and explanations. That way you guys can have that and pass it on. You can share the Facebook. We'll try to make a copy, one that we can pass out as well, that we can have available at our office. And we can try to get that to you guys as well.
I know we're going to make it easy for people to vote, so I know they're.
Okay, so
Yes.
that's we'll be able to go vote during working hours.
I know that they're making sure that the principals make it easy for everyone to vote. And I know we've been working with Remy Garza's office to make sure that everything is available. I believe it is, we're going to let some people during work hours. I don't know the schedule yet, but I know they're going to make a schedule. So that way it's
the day of
yes.
voting.
Which I feel like if you can vote early,
Yes,
right?
and early voting starts,
early voting starts October 23rd.
which is next
Monday. Not this Monday,
2
but the
weeks.
next week.
Okay.
Yes.
What happened to our funds received for COVID? Is that for like the raises? I'm not sure what that question is for. Isn't the vote best be decided by each individual? Doesn't the person's amount of money coming into their household depend on the value of your own tax and your own?
Each individual, doesn't the person's amount of money come? So I think she's talking about the property tax relief.
Oh, yeah. So that'll be based on the value of your home, if you're
Yes.
talking about that. Okay. Why 2%?
2% is what, if you look at this, $10.4 million and what it generates, that's what we could do. That's what we can do with the 10.4 million is the 2% plus the 2.6 million for the decompression.
Okay. Has the school board administration considered allowing during early voting as well?
Yeah, I believe there's going to be a schedule. I will check back and make sure that you all know, but there is going to be a schedule in order to make it easy for everyone to go vote in early voting as well.
Okay, and then you guys did make, I think, was there a resolution or something, right, that it was going to be going to the teachers? Like it was
Yes.
going to be?
Yes, we
Okay.
voted on that. It'll all be going to salaries. It will not go anywhere else.
Okay, so Yasmin, that it will go to all employees,
Yes,
not just people in main office,
all employees.
all employees. Okay. I think that was the last question. Does anybody have any more questions about the TRE? No? All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
And guys, we're gonna now start talking about Proposition 9, which is yeah, we have extras. The proposition that is to be on the ballot as well for retirees. And for that, we have Ms. Champion. She's here to give some information on that as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rose Champion, and I am a retiree from 2008. The last time the retired teachers got a cost of living raise was before 2004. So it's been 19 years. And we are proposing that it is time to shine now. We need to vote for Proposition 9. Let's keep the promise to Texas educators and vote yes on November the 7th. A lot of people are thinking my taxes are going to go up. No, our taxes are not going to go up because this is monies that TRS, the Texas Retirement System, has in their budget. And this is why they broke it down into sections. It's monies that we have. They have our monies. It is money that has been invested, and this is how they're going to figure it out. Anyone that retired from September 1, 2013 to August the 31st, 2020 will get a 2% increase. Those of us that retired in September 1, 2021 to August 31st, 2013 will get a 4%. And all those that retired on or before August 31st, 2001 will get a 6% increase. These are all our teachers that are over 75 and above that are still with us, and mostly our paraprofessionals, our cafeteria workers. They're receiving less, some of them less than $1,000 a month because their salaries were low. And I started working with the district back in 1969, and I used to get $1.25 an hour. So you can imagine what those ladies and gentlemen are getting now. So it is something that is not going to cost the taxpayers. So we need to support this. And yes, we have early voting, 10 days from today. We start on October the 23rd. Today it's the 12th. So the 13th tomorrow, it'll be 10 days. This day is almost done, so we don't count that one. And then we have November 7th. You can go into the webpage that Texas has, the www.votetexas.gov, to check your voting status. Voting status for voting registration expired on October the 10th. So if you didn't register, you will not be able to vote. But make sure that when you do vote, make sure that you take your driver's license. You need a form of identification, uh, or a Texas election identification certificate, the Texas personal ID card, the Texas handgun license, U.S. military ID with picture, U.S. Citizenship certificate with picture, and a U.S. passport if you are uh, not a born citizen of the United States, but have become a citizen. Some of this stuff needs to go in there. And this is one of the flyers that they gave us when we went to our meeting in September. During the first week of September, we had a meeting for the retired group, and they ran the forms. In February the 27th of this year, we went and we lobbied at the Capitol. Myself and Enelda Rocha, Maribel Martinez, from the Valley, we went and we walked the whole day at the Capitol, and we visited with all the representatives that were assigned to us here in the Valley. Uh, Needless to say, we found a lot of the little workers that were there. They come from education. Their parents, their grandmothers, their aunts, their uncles are all educators. And they have seen the struggles that we have. Our cost of living items have been raised 62% increases on rent, gas, food, especially during the pandemic. Everybody was hurting because everything was short, but prices on some of the cases went up. So it's been very difficult for some of these retirees, if they live on one income, to be able to provide everything. So we do encourage everyone to please vote. And yes, it's a small percentage, but it's something better than nothing. If we were to be put out to the test, we would probably say, no, we don't want this, because we're leaving everybody else that has retired after 2020. They're not getting anything except what they're getting right now. So this is just the beginning. This is our foot into the legislative for this monies, the cost of living raise for us. We'll have to go back and lobby again, because we want every person that retires to get a cost of living every year, not 19, 20 years later. We were compensated. Anybody that was over 70 by August the 31st to 74 and 364 days, we got $2,400. Wasn't it $2,400? They took the taxes, which is good, because now we don't have to worry about saving that money to have it for income tax. Anyone that was 75 and older received the $7,400. And to a lot of these older people that are still alive, it was a godsend. It also included the people that were under a person that has been deceased. Unfortunately, it didn't take their age, but they took their age as of the last time that they were here with us on earth, which was still very helpful for our widows. And I was sharing with Ms. Lopez, I know her as Ms. Lopez. Uh, anyway, that I had a friend of mine that is working, a teacher. Her mom worked, and her mom's in her 80s. And she says her dad passed away, and with all the expenses of the death of the parent, and only her working and the little bit that her mom gets, She says it's been very tight. It was almost a week or so before payday, the 25th, and she says we were almost down to nothing in the pantry. She says, so whatever money came to my mom, it was a blessing. And I'm sure that a lot of our retiree people that have retired way back before August of 2001 appreciated that. That also came from the state. It was part of the rainy sunshine fund that the legislator approved for Proposition 9. It was a compensation, and we appreciate it, but not everybody got it. Anybody that was 69 and 11 months or 69 and 364 days before they turned 70 did not receive it. So we want to make sure that when Proposition 9 is approved and voted for by our people, our citizens, that they keep in mind that this is not raising our taxes. This is coming from the funds that we have with TRS. Some of us have deposited so much money. There's people that have worked 20, 30, 40, 46 years. And, they're receiving, but they haven't had a cost of living increase. And when you go from a nice salary, I was an administrator, and you cut down to 70% of your salary, that 30% or 20% that we're not getting is a lot of monies, because we have to adjust our budget, those $2,000, $3,000 less that we're receiving. So we are pushing, we are asking, especially our educators, please go vote. Get everyone in your family that can vote to vote for Proposition 9.
Is the new COLA in addition to the COLA that was just given out in September? Yes.
Yes,
If you retired this year, will you get any money?
no.
No.
The cutoff date is August 31st, 2020. So we need to work for those people. We are already ending 2023. So we need to make sure that those people will be receiving monies in the next few years. So next time the legislators meet, we will be out there, and hopefully I'll be another one that will be out there visiting and doing the politics at the state level.
Retirees deserve more than 2% and 4%. The governor is spending money capriciously on other stuff. Why not educators? Very true. So the COLA, if it passes, will be for retirees of what year and before that? So it would be
From-
August 31st, 2020 and before.
Yeah, anybody before August the 31st, 2020.
And it's 2% from 2013 to 2020,
Mhm.
4% for 2001 to 2013, and then 6% for 2001 and before.
Before,
September 1.
September 1. We go to
September 1,
August.
2013.
So George will be eligible.
Let me see.
2020?
Yes, Ms. Rocha, please remind active
he'll get
teachers they will have to continue fighting when they retire. Yes, so it's
Yes,
never ending, guys.
It's a never ending.
We're constantly looking at this. The other thing too, I do have some information.
Ms. Rocha was one of the ones that went with us to lobby in February.
Yes.
I took two of the youngest retirees with me, because I figured they're the younger ones, they weren't going to get anything. So we, because of their retiree dates.
Yes.
So
okay.
I wanted to make sure that they went out there and say, okay, we're retired. We're not getting compensation yet, but we will in the future, because we will keep fighting.
Yes. Let me see. So some of the information that was sent to me by TSTA, our state affiliate, is no former teacher or school employee in Texas who retired after September 1, 2004 has ever received a COLA while inflation has eroded their ability to purchase basic needs. That's what Ms. Champion was just talking about right now. For teacher retirement system members who retired in 2005, the average monthly annuity, which they are still receiving, is less than $1,800 per month. After 18 years of inflation, the purchasing power of that annuity has decreased by about one third, forcing many retirees to choose between paying their utility bills or purchasing enough groceries. Thanks to higher salaries, TRS benefits for more recent retirees have improved, but the benefits are still substandard, and many recent retirees are also struggling to make ends meet. And so that's why you see a lot of our substitutes are retirees because they have to work. They're having to supplement their uh,
They're
retirement.
paid.
The average TRS annuity for 2022 was only $2,174 a month. Most retired school employees in Texas don't receive Social Security. This means their eroding TRS pensions are the only nest eggs in which many retirees can live. Retired educators spend their working lives teaching millions of Texas school children, including many of today's voters, how to become independent, self-sufficient, and successful. They were promised livable retirements when they became educators, and we must keep that promise. Unlike Social Security, the TRS pension does not provide for automatic COLAs. That's what Ms. Champion was talking about right now. That's something that us as an organization will continue to be fighting for. So that is something that almost like a step increase that can be happening annually.
Annually.
These benefits adjustments must be approved by the legislature. Last spring, the legislature approved new one-time COLAs for school retirees, but they won't go into effect unless voters approve Proposition 9 on November 7th. These COLAs will range from 2 to 6%. That's the amounts that we just gave you. They will not require a tax increase or an increase in active TRS members' contributions. So in other words, you don't have to put in more.
So we just
Let me
have to
see.
keep working at it and, we have to keep educating our children.
Yeah.
And, I went through the same thing, out of pocket money to make sure that my room was sufficiently decorated and had all the appropriate information for them to learn. And, I worked my fingers to the bone and I made sure my students learned and passed their state tests when I was in the classroom. I spent 16 years in the classroom teaching math. And at the very beginning, it was a little hard for me to get the students. But there, toward the end, I had anywhere from 94 and above of my students passing the state test. But we worked very hard. A lot of incentives for them that came out of our pockets, and we still have teachers doing the same thing.
Mhm.
Not just the teachers, we have paraprofessionals
Yep.
that work with the special children
Bringing in
and
snacks and bringing in.
everything, because we want to make sure that they're fed and that they eat and they have something in their stomach in order for them to be able to think. So, it's a one time right now. And we're hoping that Proposition 9 will pass so that within another year or two, we'll start again. Because we believe that every teacher, every district employee that has given their lives to our children and have retired should be getting a cost of living at all times, every year. And those of us that worked before and we have Social Security, they give us anywhere from 40 to 50% because they say we make too much money. We have a retirement. I was told by the Social Security lady that it was my fault I wasn't getting my Social Security because I decided to become a teacher and get a retirement at the end. But that was my monies, and a lot of us don't get it.
Mhm.
So
That's
we-
something else that we're fighting
we're
at the state
fighting
too.
for
Mhm.
state and the nation, because it has to be approved also so that we can get that freed for us. But most of all, please, please make sure that Proposition 9 gets voted in on September the 7th.
Well,
Early voting, make sure that you go out there, check the Texas website for any other information. But remember, everybody at home to vote.
sorry guys, were we on mute the whole time? No, right? Sorry, I don't know what happened. It went on mute. What we were saying was that Miss Nelda said she can't understand why our money has to be voted on, and that's very true. We don't understand why we have to be voting on money that we have been putting away. I did put in the link in the chat a link for any things that are being debated right now at the legislature. Thank you, Ms. Ramirez, for saying you can't hear. I didn't see that. Somehow it ended up on mute. So if you guys have any other questions on Proposition 9, please let me know so that we can answer those right now.
And the poster will be posted on your Facebook.
Yeah, we're going to be putting up the flyer for Proposition 9 on our Facebook, so that gives some
That's the
information.
information in the front and the back.
And the back, yeah. Again, early voting does start October 23rd. For early voting, you can go to like the libraries, and we can also post on our Facebook early voting sites so that you can know where
That,
you can go.
Notice that Ms. Gomez, is it
Oh, yes,
Gomez?
we're gonna
That
also
has the places where you can go vote for
the
early
precincts.
voting and
Yeah.
so forth.
We'll get that up on our Facebook as well. Does anybody else have any questions?
Thank you for having me, and I will continue to work for our retirees.
Thank
So
you. Appreciate it.
please do join our retired group. So I will get you an application so that you can.
Yeah,
help
because
us out.
you can actually start paying your
I don't think that when the lifetime has been taken off, because the lifetime, we only get one little section, one pay. As if that you go pay annually, we get most of all of that money that we can work for and do more
do more at the
legislative
state. Yeah.
with it. And we do have to apply for grants every year so that we can provide trainings and to go lobbying in Austin, because they have to pay for our housing while we're there. So.
The VATRE passes. If the VATRE passes, the increase will be for teachers, principals, will that include the AAs along with the superintendent? Yes. So it would be every employee of the district. 2% off of their midpoint. So again, It would be, for example, for the teacher's scale, it would be year 17. And then for professional support staff, which is like the occupational therapist, LSSPs, all of us that are in that area, is 2% off of our midpoint, which was, I believe I said, page 16 of the compensation plan. And we can post those up also on the Facebook page so that you all can see where you would be looking. So yes, it would be every employee.
No increases for the subs.
They voted on an increase for subs this past meeting, and it went up to 150. Let me look.
125 for no degree and then one.
Hold on. Let me see.
150 for degree.
So we're already getting 160. So are they gonna knock it down? Oh, no, what, we're getting 135.
Yeah, it went up. It went up.
Sorry, that was the 160s for the administration.
Hold on, let me get the. So the question was asked here in-house if the substitute pay went up, and I'm looking for it because it was just voted on at the last meeting.
No, I think it was 100 for no degree, 150 for degree, and then, no, 125 for degree and 150 for retired teachers.
It would give us a $15 increase per day.
I'll tell you right now, Miss Champion, give me 1 second.
Because I was asked, and I said, I don't know, I didn't.
Yeah, it was voted.
Yeah, I think
And
it was
think
at this
goes in
last.
effect of November? Would be that-
Actually, what they voted on was for it to start the 1st of October,
Okay.
right? Like they did it for the 1st of October. Why can't I find it?
There's so many emails that you have.
Stipend.
To 100.
Yeah.
They were getting the 80.
It was just 20 dollars.
Why can't I find it on the agenda?
But they did hire a lot of people that had GEDs and no experience. And
Oh, here it is.
they're taking a lot of the jobs.
Okay.
According to what they said, the jobs are going into Cyprus and they're grabbing them. And I don't do special ed because I don't have control of my arm because I have shoulder.
Okay, so
Those are the only calls that I get.
So the non-degreed went from 90 to 100. The degreed went from 110 to 125, and the certified went from 135 to 150. And that was voted on the 3rd, but they made it retroactive to October 1st to start off the month. So if you worked on October 1st, make sure that your check reflects that.
Yeah, the last time they had to go back and change everything because none of the pay raises were.
Mr. Cisneros, it's at the office. Your shirt's at the office, sir. All right, does anybody else have any more questions for the TRE, the Proposition 9, anything else? Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, this stream, will be saved on our Facebook. On our, well, actually it's on our Facebook too, but it's also on our YouTube. Please feel free to share it so that people can listen to the information. There is the link that's on the chat that gives information to all the stuff that is being debated, or to a lot of stuff that is being debated right now. They're still in session. So give them a shout out. They've been working really hard, and hopefully we can get some good stuff happening for public ed. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and we will see you. Bye-bye.